The stairs over here. Good evening. What are you doing?
Go ahead. Good evening, everyone. Tonight remind me of those good days, and I ask God to bless every heart, every soul here tonight. Continue to do a good work for Angola, and I know that we got a right team now. I ask you, Lord, to bless Shellya, give her strength, wisdom, and understanding. She already knows, and she's ready to do your work. The people expect her to do her work in Angola. So tonight we want to pray that your hearts go out for her. We pray that someday you'll see the fruits of her labor. I got confidence in her. And tonight, friends, we want to have you bless her and pray for her. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, the Honorable Mr. Kenneth Harrigan. We would first like to start off with a moment of silence for the passing. Today was the funeral for the late Mr. Cardigan E. Hodge, who was an Angola revolutionary hero. And we want to give condolences to his wife, Clarice Hodge, and the family and friends, including the Honorable Mr. Kenneth Harrigan, who would have been Cardigan Hodge's brother-in-law. And so that moment of silence begins now. Thank you. Good evening once again, fellow Angolians, residents of Angola, residents of District 3 and Stony Ground. Good night to you. We are here tonight just days before the by-election for District 3. On Monday, we will have the early voting, which will take place on Monday morning, from morning to afternoon, and we'll get into that later. And on Tuesday, we will have the 24th of May, 2022, the general by-election for all those persons who would not have signed up for the early voting. And I want to take the opportunity tonight to congratulate our Angola United Front District 3 candidate, Mrs. Shellya Rogers-Webster, for the hard work that she has put in over the past few weeks. The extremely hard work in making sure that she touches as many people as she can. So much so that Shellya ran her body down, and we unfortunately had to postpone last week's meeting. But what it shows is commitment. Shellya's commitment and Shellya's willingness to take on this challenge on short notice because of her vision and her dreams for the people of District 3 and Angola as a whole. And you have heard her on the various radio programs explaining her plans as the next District 3 representative. And you have heard her giving her views on matters of the past and her plans for the future. And there are a number of things, residents of District 3, that should be clear to you by now as a result of these various interviews and meetings. Number one, Shellya is no shrinking violet. She has her views and her belief system, which have been formed based on her experiences in all areas of her life. She has not and will not back down from a challenge. This is what has allowed her to officially enter the political arena just some 7 weeks ago. Number two, Shellya can represent herself. She can state her views and her thoughts and opinions clearly. And when she is finished, you are not confused as to what she has said. Forget about trying to trip her up. It can't happen. Number 3, Shellya is grounded. Her feet are squarely on the ground, and she can understand, appreciate, and show compassion for all persons. And she listens carefully to what each and every person has to say. Number 4, Shellya is an extremely hard worker. She has put 150% effort into every job that she has held over the years. And today, she comes to you ready and committed to putting 150% effort into being your next District 3 representative. Number 5, Shellya. Family is important to Shellya. Her husband and son, mother and sister, aunts and uncles and cousins are extremely important to her. You just have to listen to the number of persons on radio confirming their family ties to Shellya to know that Shellya's roots run deep throughout the District 3 community and beyond. And just as importantly, you have heard her say that the District 3 community itself has always been her family, because it is this community which has raised her, held her hand, looked out for her, financially assisted her, and helped her to be the person who she is today. District 3, Shellya Rogers-Webster is your daughter. She is your daughter. And I know that you are extremely proud of her. And I know that you know that she will do everything in her power to continuously represent your interests. And so tonight, fellow Anguillians, I want to bring on the first speaker of the night. He is none other than the Honorable Representative for District Number 7, the Honorable Mr. Cardigan Connor.
Thank you very much, Cora, and a special good evening to all who are here. A special good evening to my constituents in West End, in St. Thomas, United States, St. Martin, the UK, wherever you are. And also to a colleague of ours who's down in Australia. I want to say good day to Jose. I'm sure he's listening in. It's midday, so he's got no excuse to still be in bed. But my special good evening is to you, the people of District 3. As I drive around Anguilla, the number of persons wish they were in your shoes, because you are the constituency that has the ability to send a message, not a petition, but send a message to the government of Anguilla that they're not delivering on any of the promises that they made to you as a people. So the rest of Anguilla, whether they're here or whether they're overseas, they're looking to you on the 23rd and the 24th, that you go out and make that vote and put that vote. You've got that right. Persons over the years, over the centuries, have died for the right so that you have got the right to vote today. And you should take advantage of that. You're in a fortunate position. Why I say you're in a fortunate position is because you've got a choice that over the last 3-4 weeks, even before that, you'd have seen a young woman that's grown up around you, that has the qualities and has the desire, the passion, the commitment, and she's put in the hard work to say and show you that she's prepared to go in the direction of saying to you, the people of Anguilla, you, the people of District 3, that she is there to represent you come hell or high water. There are challenges, but she is a lady that's prepared to handle the challenges. Quite often, governments get into office, they say they didn't know that things was as bad as they found them. Well, the truth is, what did you campaign on? You campaign on all what you believe was bad, or someone might have told you was bad, and then all of a sudden, you get in there and you find that you got issues that you can't handle. So instead of stepping up to the challenge, what do they generally do? Find excuses. I am fortunate that in 2015, I was part of a team that went into office and was prepared to deal with the challenges, to fix it, to get a job done, not complain that this is what was left with us, whether it's the banking crisis, a couple years later and said, oh, what has God done to us with Hurricane Irma? No, we rolled up our sleeves and we were prepared to work at it. Not try to blame anybody else. Not try to go back in history and say this was wrong and that was wrong. What you, the people of District 3, and by extension Anguilla, will find in Shellya Rogers-Webster is that someone who's prepared for the challenge. She didn't sit on the sofa here and complain that the world, this big wide world out there is too big for her. She went out, she challenged it, and she conquered it. But in her passion, within her heart, it was about coming back to Anguilla. Sure, some people might say she had a secure job at a tourist board. She had success at a tourist board. But Shellya has always been about moving forward. And the best way for her to move forward was not just for herself, not just for her family, but for her people. And it starts with you, the people of District 3. You have got the ability to go out on Monday and Tuesday and put Shellya Rogers-Webster in office to represent you and to represent Anguilla going forward. A number of persons would tie Shellya, sure, she's the same old AUF. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. But what I will tell you about Shellya is that Shellya is her own person. A foundation has been laid by the Anguilla United Front over the years. And that foundation was built on not excuses, but finding a way to fix the problem, to fix the issue. And Shellya Rogers will bring something to Cora's new team. And it is a new team. And as we go forward, as you put Shellya Rogers-Webster in office, come the 24th next week. And by Friday, she'll be sworn into the House of Assembly. And she will stand proud to represent you, the people of District 3, and by extension, the people of Anguilla. I still go back to the fact that as a government, and there are two other candidates in this race, but you, the people of District 3, as I said earlier, you're in a far better position than those who are the concerned group, who will go on the radio and talk about what is wrong, or write to the foreign minister about what is wrong. You're in a position where you can do something about it. The government, the APM government, has got a candidate in this race. Unfortunately, we haven't seen him up to this point. But what we have got in Anguilla United Front is a candidate that we know that is not just about winning a by-election, but going forward will be one of the key components as we build on the foundation of what was built before the Anguilla United Front. She is ready and she is able. There was a mock vote at the library. In fact, the results came out yesterday, and no surprise, Shellya got 70% of those votes. Not a surprise. In fact, the surprise was only 70%. But what is interesting, fellow Anguillians, I was having a discussion today with a teacher from the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School who did something similar as well. And a number of those students from grade 4 will very soon become voters in the Anguilla general election. And those voters, again, have voted Shellya as their person of choice at 70%. I know when I spoke to Shellya last evening, she said she doesn't count her chickens before they hatch. She is the favorite. We all know she's the favorite. But out of respect, she is prepared to wait for you to go to the polls and put her in office come Tuesday. But what was interesting is that teacher said to me that some of those students called home and asked their parents, where should I vote? What did the parents say? Vote Shellya Rogers-Webster. The parents understand. Some of the children, or the school children, they might, again, pick up on what the parents are saying at home. They are influenced by what their parents say. Some of them are prepared to ask the parents for their parents' opinion. But it tells you, fellow Anguillians, that the people of Anguilla, the parents, and in their homes, they are not happy with this government. If they were happy with this government, they would give them reinforcement in electing their candidate. But no, they know what is best for their children, they know what's best for them, they know what's in the best for the future of Anguilla. And what is best for the future of Anguilla, as we continue to build on that platform that was laid long ago, is that the likes of Shellya Rogers-Webster is elected to join Cora Richardson Hodge, Jose Vanderpool, who's down in Australia and is being selected as someone going to go down to Australia with the CPA to represent Anguilla. The Honorable Victor Banks spotted the potential. In fact, some would say the potential in Jose was laid or was displayed many years ago. But when we talk about youth, look back to see what happened 4 years ago when Jose was introduced as the first nominated member in the House of Assembly. He's grown from strength to strength. We need your support, District 3. We need extra support. We need Shellya Rogers-Webster as another cog in that wheel. And as we go over the next couple of years, we're going to appeal to you, not just District 3, but the faithful in Anguilla, the AUF, and all Anguillians, because it's not about party, it is about what is best for Anguilla. And you, the people of Anguilla, know within your hearts what is best for Anguilla, what is best for you, what is best for your children going forward. By all means, I can understand that even though things were good, even despite of COVID, at the start of COVID, where we as a government was focused more on keeping you safe rather than trying to win an election. But promises were made, unrealistic promises. But you bought into those. But you can't fool them twice. There was someone on the podium that said, cock-a-doodle-doo, don't let them fool you. But who was they talking about? Were they talking about us, or were they talking about their own team? Our people, you could fool me once, but you can't fool me twice. The people of District 3, I'm looking to you. Anguilla's looking to you. Come Monday, come Tuesday, and vote Shellya Rogers-Webster as your representative in the Anguilla House of Assembly. I thank you so much for your dedicated support over the years, but whatever we do as elected members, we still need you, our people, to help us as we go along. We need those who have retired but are still here tonight. The Honorable Kenneth Harrigan, who came up to give a word of prayer. And he has always done that. He's someone like the Honorable Victor Banks, like the Honorable Bunton Fleming, Osborne Fleming. Eric Reed may not be here in person, but is here in spirit. And someone that I would always admire, my godfather, who is here tonight. You cannot see him. The Honorable Albert Belter Hughes, who said to me back in 2011, if you're going to run, you've got to run with the Anguilla United Front. People, thank you so much. People of Anguilla, my people of West End, I thank you. May God continue to bless you, and God continue to bless Anguilla.
All right, there you have it, fellow Anguillians. Honorable Cardigan Connor. I want to take this opportunity to remind you, residents of District 3, that when you go to the polls on Monday 23rd and Tuesday 24th of May 2022, you are going to vote for a person that you believe will honestly and truly represent your interests for the next 3 years and likely for the foreseeable future. And that person is none other than Shellya Rogers-Webster. On Monday, early voting. The early voting will take place at the House of Assembly from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So all those persons who have pre-registered for early voting, you will attend the Anguilla House of Assembly between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and you will cast your vote for only one candidate. We do not have any island-wide candidates in this election. We have one candidate, one district representative that you'll be voting for, and that is Shellya Rogers-Webster. And on Tuesday, 24th May 2022, for those persons that have not registered or did not do the early voting on Monday, you will attend the Aurelia Kelly Primary School from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you will vote for only one candidate. You will cast your ballot for the beacon for Shellya Rogers-Webster. And so there are two other candidates running in this by-election. One candidate is currently the Premier's financial advisor. He sits in the Ministry of Finance with the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Dr. Ellis Lorenzo Webster, and the rest of the APM team. And he advises them and helps them to roll out various measures imposed on the people of Angola, like the 18 tax measures, which included increased taxes on health, electricity, transportation costs, farming fees. And he also worked closely with the Premier to roll out the GST, which is to hit on the 1st of July, 2022. But let us not forget that it is the same APM government which campaigned vigorously against the GST during the 2020 general election campaign. And it is the same APM that instilled fear and concern and anger in the minds of the people. And yet today, they could talk about fear-mongering. And they promised the people of Angola that if they were elected, they would not impose the GST. And we've heard so many lies since then about why it is that they have not been able to keep most of their promises to the people of Angola. And so as they say, you must not reward bad behavior. You must not reward this APM government who repeatedly lied to the people of Angola, who increased so many taxes on the people within the space of 2 years, which pushed through the GST legislation against the will of the people, and disregards the needs of the elderly and those persons in need of health care. And it's the same government that is today plunging the country into a state of fear and unrest in the midst of a global pandemic, because we are not out of this pandemic as yet. And so you must not reward these people by electing yet another member of the APM during this by-election. And so you must say no to the APM and its candidate in this District 3 by-election. Say no to Courtney Morton. And the other candidate is a candidate who ran island-wide last election in 2020. He did run to be the elected representative on this occasion. District 3 residents, I want you to remember that in this by-election, you are not voting for an island-wide candidate. You are not voting for an island-wide candidate. You are voting for a district representative. You are voting for someone that you want to represent your interests, to look out for your future, your children's future, and your children's children's future. So this is not an island-wide election. This is a district election. And so you must judge each of the candidates on their merits. Do you want this person representing your interests, speaking on your behalf, talking for you as a District 3 elected representative? And so you cannot support a candidate who is surrounded by persons who less than 2 years ago were standing in a boat and now they're sitting on a lion. Have you ever asked yourself why? Why in less than 2 years these alliances have changed? What is it that they're seeking? And for how long will they be sitting on the lion? Where will they go next? Is this just a stop along the road for them seeking to fulfill their own agenda? These are the questions that the people of Anguilla have. These are the questions that the people of District 3 have. Are they playing with your emotions, with you and your children's future? And what is it that they truly want? And all we hear is that if this candidate is elected, he will shake things up in the House of Assembly. Newsflash, this so-called shake-up candidate will not be able to do the things that they're saying he's going to do. He will not be able to do it. It doesn't work like that. They do not understand. And they did not understand when they supported this APM government, and they still do not understand as they're walking around urging you to vote for their new candidate for this by-election. But more importantly, an elected representative has so much more work to do than just jumping up in the House of Assembly. Every single person in District 3 is entitled to be represented by an elected representative who is not only about creating chaos in the House of Assembly. The representation of you and your family is serious business. And District 3, you are entitled to a calm, steady, capable, qualified, caring representative. You are entitled to have the Anguilla United Front District 3 candidate, Mrs. Shellya Rogers-Webster, represent your interests. And now, fellow Anguillians, residents of District 3, I bring on your immediate former district representative, a man who has worked hard for the people of Anguilla and for the people of your district for the last 15 years, 17 years. A representative who has been able to respond to your needs, especially in matters of health and education over those years. And tonight, I speak none other than the Honorable Mr. Evan McNeil Rogers.
Thank you very much, Cora. And thank you very much to all of you who are here this evening attending this rally in Stony Ground. I want to thank you for your presence. I want to thank the folks who are looking or viewing via the various media methods. And for those who are at home listening to this political rally. A special good evening to the people in Valley North, District 3 constituency. The people here in Stony Ground and Little Dix, Cause Bottom, Cause Pond, Waterses, and the surrounding areas. A special thank you, and thank you. My fellow Anguillians, there is no secret as to why we are here this evening. As a matter of fact, I am here this evening with a simple message that is divided in two parts. And I've been giving this message since this political campaign began. It's simple, and there's no harm in violence in repeating it. Number one, I want to take this opportunity to thank the people in District 3 Valley North for their continued support and for voting for me personally over the last 4 consecutive elections. It was a journey. It was a journey, and I couldn't have done it without you, the people in District number 3, Valley North, Stony Ground, Little Dix, the entire district. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me throughout my political journey over the many years. I want to say to the people of Valley North, and they know, and I want to say to the people island-wide and to those who are viewing, that the people in District 3 held my back and they protected me as I travel through my political journey. They protected me from experiencing what it is like to be defeated at the polls, and I want to thank you for consistently, over the last 4 consecutive elections, showing up at the polls and supporting your humble servant. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. Your support and the votes that you've given me over the years will be forever part and parcel of my prayers and thanks. That's the first message. And the second message, my fellow constituents, is I'm here this evening to ask you humbly for your support and for your vote for the Honorable Shellya Rogers-Webster. Shellya cannot win this seat and this constituency without your vote. And I want to emphasize your vote. We have got to defeat complacency. And when I say complacency, I mean there is a lot of support in the district and throughout the island for Shellya. A lot of support. You win elections by the votes. So I am admonishing you, I am begging you, I am asking you, I am pleading with you that on Monday and Tuesday, please show up to the polls and vote for Shellya Rogers-Webster. That's the only way she can win the seat. The only way she can win the seat. And I'm sorry I don't have the screen tonight to show you all, but it is easy. The paper is simple. Candidates 1, 2, and 3. It goes in alphabetical order. Candidate number 1, it has here Lanny Hobson. And I don't know what the symbol look like, but I guess it's the lion. Courtney Moulton, the boat. And Shellya Rogers-Webster, the beacon. Next to those names, sort of an oval. And we want you to shade the oval or make an X in the oval shape that is there. That is how you vote. That is what is going to count on election day. So please do not take anything for granted. Do not take anything for granted. Do not listen or view the mock elections. While they are good for statistics and for all other data, that does not count. What counts is the vote on election days, the Monday and the Tuesday. And we have Shellya there with us. My fellow Anguillians, as I mentioned earlier, there is no harm or violence in repeating. Repetition is good with respect to pointing out. And I want to point this out because I would have mentioned it on a number of occasions, that elections have consequences. Elections have consequences, my fellow Anguillians and residents in Valley North. Consequences. And we have seen over the last almost 2 years the consequences of the last general election. And I want to make this abundantly clear. There is nothing more strategic, there is nothing more foundational, and there is nothing that would be more successful when you're putting together not only a political party, but you're putting together an administration with experience in it. The people of this country who voted for us on a number of occasions, they voted for the government who is in office now. And we have all respect for the decisions that the people of Anguilla has made. Cardi mentioned to me some time ago that we have to learn from our mistakes. And if you think it was a mistake, you thought it was a mistake with the vote that was cast in the last general election, please learn something from it, especially with the functioning of the government that we have in office today. I'm going to talk about Shellya, but I want to point out here, as Cora did, that one of the candidates in this by-election is a candidate that represented in the last general election the government who is in office today. As she mentioned, that candidate is the financial advisor, or whatever nomenclature he wants to use, to the premier. So whatever this administration has achieved, the confusion that they have created, he is a part of it. I want to make that clear, because at the end of the day, and as I go through this evening, I will be comparing and contrasting the three candidates that will be in this by-election. Three candidates. The Anguilla United Front, foundational. We are here. If you look at the present administration, when they won the election and formed the government in 2020, not one single one of those individuals were ever elected before. Not one. And this is one of the points that I want to point out to my fellow Anguillians throughout the length and breadth of this country. Because in the general election, there will be candidates that you and I will have to vote for at large. I said then, and I'm saying again, there is no need for mixing and matching. We saw what it did for this country in the last general election. This by-election, as Cora mentioned, and I'm sure you all are aware of, and I will repeat, there is no island-wide voting in this. It is one vote. And that vote that you have, I am asking you to go to the polls and vote for a candidate that has the compassion, who is prepared and is ready to serve you. I'm asking you to do that. That is what I'm asking you to do. When you look at the present administration, is nothing but what I will call a fake or a forged group of individuals that came together, highly subsidized, with consultants and all sorts of things, catchy phrases to win an election. Now, I have been around the block for quite some time, election block. And I don't remember the Anguilla United Front importing consultants to come talk to the people of Anguilla. Mr. Banks, bear me out. Bear me out. I can't recall the Anguilla United Front bringing in consultants from overseas during an election. We had the funds to do it. However, they brought them in, the catchy phrase, 5 votes, 5 votes, change can't wait. Brought them in, a group of individuals forged together to win an election. And you know what? Winning an election, while you have to vote for the candidates, winning an election is not only the candidates. There is a lot of heavy lifting behind to make sure that the candidates win. And the heavy lifters for this administration, the present administration, the heavy lifters are way out in left field, less than 2 years after coming to office. So while it was 5 votes and 5 votes and the political rostrum, when they formed the administration, all hell broke loose. That is the reason why you have some of these radio stations and the pundits on radio saying all sorts of things. We put them in office, and all of a sudden they're doing whatever they want. They're not listening to us. Yes, at times you've got to make tough decisions, but you've got to remember from whence you came and who all were involved in your success at the polls. The last 2 years, you would have witnessed the fragmentation, the distortion and disunity, the disagreements and conflict within the government group. And there is nothing wrong with conflict and disagreements, my fellow Anguillians, because every political party or every administration experienced that. That is when you have leadership who can bring all of us together with various views and ideas for the common cause. And that is why I will always have the ultimate respect for the leadership and guidance of the Honorable Sir Victor Franklin Banks. Will always have it, because we had our disagreements. Running a government and administration is nothing easy. Nothing easy. But you have to do it as a team. And when I hear this bull crap about the lion can shake up things, what the heck the lion can shake up by himself? By his own mouth? Nothing. And when you look at the system that we have here in place, it is the Speaker's house. The Speaker's house. The Speaker put me out of the house twice between 2010 and 2015. And imagine the Speaker put Cora out of the house in this sitting. So imagine the lion, which ain't gonna happen, in the House of Assembly with the sort of behavior that he has with Barbara there. Huh? Just imagine. Just imagine. So all the nonsense about what he will do and what he will shake up and all that, not a thing or so. So I want you to think about what is happening. Think about what is happening, because it is incumbent upon you, the electorate, we the electorate in District Number 3, to make sure that does not happen. I just explained to you, in the last general election, the entire government were rookies. Not one of them won a seat or was in government or was in opposition before. An AUF administration would have the likes of the leader, Cora Richardson Hodge, who has been a minister, who has been involved in government, who is a legislator, the likes of Cardigan Connor, the likes of Jose Vanterpool, and soon to be the likes of Shellya Rogers-Webster with experience. I don't know who the new party will comprise of, but I'm just laying it out. The present one, government, went in not one day of experience. We, the Angular United Front, even without Victor Banks and your humble servant, we are poised. The team is poised with experience, leadership, and coupled now with the youth and vision to move this country forward. And with God's help, we are not going anywhere. We'll be a phone call away from what's happening. And we won't be deciding for the government. We only will be around in case they need a different point of view, because everyone will have their own decisions to make based on the information that you provide them with. So the catchphrases, the folks who came to you last election and telling you to vote for 5 votes. One of the votes is still in this by-election, and those same folks are telling you today that you must jump in the lion's den. They campaigned for the vote the last time, and now they're telling you to jump in the lion's den. So you've got to ask yourself, what is it that they're talking about? A set of pendulum swinging up and down, left and right. Come 2025, who knows what they will be telling you to do. So I want the people to be cognizant of the fact of what is taking place. I happened to have a conversation with one of their staunch supporters, who is now supporting the lion, who said to me, Mr. Rogers, the reason why I am supporting the lion is because all of the promises that were made during the election campaign by this government, when they got in government, they turn around and do the opposite. And time tonight will only allow me to touch on 2 of those issues, because I want to be clear with what I'm talking about in terms of being swinging up and down all around and talking nonsense. Because you will hear Courtney and those folks are saying, oh, Courtney is the only candidate that if he were to win, he will get in government and would be able to function for you and the district immediately. Well, God dang it, if he's going to function the way the government is functioning for you, you don't need nobody in there, because they ain't doing a damn good job of what is happening now. That's what it is. He can't get away from them. And the 2 things I want to talk about, 2 things I want to talk about is the banking resolution, because you hear a lot about that, and the GST. And bear with me a little, because I ain't going into detail with them, but I'm just comparing and contrasting what political promises are and what the reality is, just to show you, and to show you that Courtney is a part of the decision making that is taking place. Banking resolution. You would have heard on these political rostrums from the APM during the last election campaign. Oh, the banking resolution, Mr. Banks and the AUF sold out the country. They did all sorts of nonsense. The banking report put a noose around the necks of Anguillians in terms of debt and depth and all sorts of stuff. And they were never going to go along with it. They talk about the banking report. And as they get in office from day one, they would have released the banking report. And now you hear the premier talking about he can't release it because of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, the legislation protecting that. It is the same damn legislation that Victor had to deal with. Nothing ain't changed since Lorenzo got in there. Not a thing has changed since Lorenzo got in there. Nothing has changed in terms of the banking resolution. So if Victor didn't release it, how the people of Anguilla thought that Lorenzo's so brilliant that when he gets in, he would release it. And to this very day, he can't release it. So the folks must be angry with him. His supporters must be angry with him. Must be angry with him. And Courtney is a part of that. When I look at last week's paper, the same Premier and Minister of Finance in the paper, and I'm paraphrasing, talking about how well the bank is doing, talking about he can't release the report. He's talking about the government divesting some of its shares. Well, if Victor and the United Front didn't save the bank, what shares you would have had to divest? What you would have had to divest? The same bank that they wanted to close, they are boasting about it now. And the noose, the financial noose that the bank put around their necks, when you divest the shares, you got to ask Courtney what they're going to do with the money. What will they do with the money? Again, I got to thank the Honorable Victor Franklin Banks for his stellar leadership during difficult times in this country. Difficult times in this country. What you going to do with it? And it's still there, and it's not going anywhere. The government ain't in the banking business. Yes, the Anguilla government owned 100% of the bank, but we had to own it in order to save it. And we save it for the people of Anguilla, the depositors, and all the promises and nonsense that they chat on the political rostrum. When they got in office, they couldn't do a doggone thing but leave the banking report where it is and try and support the bank. That's why it's there. So be careful. That's all I'm saying. Please be careful with the nonsense that you hear from these political rostrums. And I say political rostrums because as politicians, we can say whatever we want to say up here. But I want you, the electorate, the people, to decipher, to try and listen to what we are saying and put one and one together and make two. Please. Because there are some people in our society, sad to say, are not connecting the dots. Because when an Anguillian can say to me, we have to give the lion a chance. Because the lion is the only one who is talking about issues. And when you point out to the individual what the lion himself is saying on his WhatsApp messages, he is stunned. But he attack everybody. No sort of behavior, no respect for nobody. He attack everybody. But let me tell you, this is Shellya's platform. And I don't want to take on the lion because I am not afraid to take him on, you know. Right? So I ain't going to go into that on Shellya's platform. We must focus on making sure that we turn out to vote and vote for Shellya on election day. That's what we focus on. We won't be distracted. And you ain't going to hear Shellya talking about anyone. This is her first opportunity to be elected and to represent you. And she's doing it the right way. That is part of her DNA. She doesn't have to get down in the mud. And we thank you for that, Shellya. But I am not afraid. Had never been. But I am respectful. That's the difference. And when you look at us as a team putting together a government, because our opposition is a government in waiting. And when you look at the team, and we're going to put a team together. We're going to put a team together. I have my issues and got to go and deal with my family issues. But God is good. So be careful, you know. Be careful I don't see me back on the political rostrum again, you know. Careful. Okay? Moving on. I want to say to you that there are three candidates in this general election. Three of them. The APM candidate, Courtney, and his team is saying that he's the only one can hit the ground running. No. You got to ask yourself, if he's going to hit the ground running, he's going to hit the ground running where? Where he's running to? That's what we got to find out. Because the direction that this administration is going in, I don't know whether they're running away from danger or to danger, or they're running into each other. Because it seems that's the way they're doing. They're running into each other. Don't understand it. And when you look at the disrespect again, because I call it disrespect. 6-7 weeks ago, we all knew that it was going to be a by-election in District 3. And you're going to tell me that the candidate for the government cannot come to speak to you publicly. He has to wait until the 11th hour, 2 days before the election, to come publicly to you? Or what kind of secrets the government has? Tonight is the first night that they're having a meeting to tell you what? To tell you what? What are they going to tell you? They knew before. And tomorrow is the second meeting. Monday is early voting. So there is total disrespect after 6-7 weeks to know that there is an election coming up, by election, and you're going to wait until 2 days before early voting to come to speak to the people publicly. And you're going to chat some nonsense about house to house. But that's regular, there ain't no change. Everybody go house to house. There's no change. Every one of us would have gone house to house. Shellya is doing it now. House to house. She's been doing it a long time ago. House to house. But she's been up here speaking to you, the electorate in District 3 Valley North, publicly. So there's no secret about what she is doing. She is speaking to you. She spoke to you on several occasions publicly with respect to what she will do and her ideas in moving the country forward. So no secrets. There's no secrets around here. You got to come out to the people. Coming out to the people, talking to the people publicly and privately. That's respecting them. Respecting the importance of their vote. You don't wait and hide around and come out 2 days before the election to tell me what. And you're doing house to house. Everybody does house to house. And just to let you know, a candidate is not a lone ranger. There are so many individuals, they don't want me to call their names, so many individuals who have been part and parcel of my success and who will be part and parcel of Shellya and anyone who representing District 3 success. It is a team effort. That's what it is. Team effort moving forward. And when you're talking about preparation, Shellya has been a part of that team, has been a part of my success. She has prepared herself. So when we go out on election day, there's only one vote. There's only one Shellya. There's only one beacon on this ballot. One beacon on this ballot. And that is the person, that is the symbol, and the person is Shellya Rogers-Webster. You will hear from her tonight. That is the person who I'm asking you all to go out and vote for. Even the disrespectful lion. Even the disrespectful lion has been out there doing all sorts of things and saying all sorts of crazy stuff, you know. But at least he was saying something. Did we hear anything from our government representative who will be the candidate in this election until tonight? 1 or 2 interviews with Radio Anguilla, and he seemed to move back from the mic as opposed to coming to speak to you, the people. That's what it is. Every single radio station, Shellya has been there and interviewed by the host. No stone unturned. I don't have to convince you of her delivery, the content, her intelligence, her readiness, her preparedness for those sort of things. Not only in Anguilla, we went St. Martin to SOS with Billy D. You had 3 talkers, myself, Cora, and Shellya. And Cora and I had to sit and listen to Shellya making her presentation. What a wonderful feeling it was. What a glorious and relief feeling that I have as the outgoing representative being replaced by Shellya Rogers-Webster. It's a feeling of euphoria, well prepared. And I leave no stones unturned in order to support her. And I want to say to you all, we need your support. We need your vote, because that is what is going to count on election day. And I don't have a doubt that the people in Valley North will send a resounding message to the present administration with respect to their performance in office. We absolutely. No doubt that my people would be able to do that. No doubt. I want to say this. I want to say this to the Premier, who is the leader of government business, who is the representative from Island Harbor, and the leader of the APM. I am going to say this to you, and I'm going to say it slowly. District 3, Valley North, is not the constituency for experimentation. And let me explain it. It is not the constituency for experimentation. And when I say that, it seems as if though the initial plan for APM is expulsion by addition. And let me explain that. Expulsion by addition. Right now, the government has 7 of the 11 seats. And we know what took place with the GST and all sorts of stuff. 2 of the ministers voting against it in the House of Assembly. 7 seats. So, Premier, you know the math. If you expel 2 now, you will be in a minority government. You can only have 5. But if you add 1 more, let's say Courtney in this by-election, you would be able to expel 2 and still have the majority. Let me repeat it again. There are 11 elected representatives in the House of Assembly. The government has 7. If they get 1 more, which they are trying to get this constituency, it ain't going to happen, but I'm giving you the scenario. They would have 8 seats. So the Premier will have the leeway to get rid of 2 of his ministers, because he can do that, you know. He can relieve them of their ministerial duties. So if you get 8 and you take away 2, you still have 6. But the people in Valley North, as I mentioned before, will not allow this to happen for more chaos and confusion in our little country. That's why I said the Valley North constituency is not the constituency for experimentation. No expulsion by addition, because you ain't adding nothing more to what you got there already. Not this over here. That's why I'm asking you, the people of Anguilla, to go out and support us. Go out and support us. It is simple. Give him this, and he'll be able to expel 2. It's a small country. We know the 2 who they probably will expel. And if you look carefully, to the ground campaign and look at the relatives of those who would be expelled, you would see the reasoning behind the support of the lion. Because some of those same people represented and were out there campaigning for the same Courtney, for the same boat. Courtney's there now, and they ain't worrying with him. Why? Again, expulsion, to prevent expulsion by addition. So Courtney supporters who supported him the last time ain't want him to win. But we have no time with them. I want our people, my people, to go out and support the candidate that we have in this general election, to go out and support Shellya Rogers-Webster. And one of the interesting things with respect to that, is this. Shellya has brought a different dynamic to the political arena. Total different dynamic. She has raised the bar in terms of representation. Raised the bar in terms of representation. She's prepared. She's ready. She wants to do that. And for those who are seeking political office, the benchmark has already been set going forward. You've got to be able to bring in supporters under the AUF tent. That is the mark of a committed, true patriot to this country. There are individuals in District Number 3, and we welcome them, who had never voted for me, and they're going out to vote for Shellya. For Shellya. That's who they're going to vote for. And we welcome them. We welcome them. We welcome them. You don't have to be an Angular United Front diehard. You can come and vote for Shellya. That's what we're talking about. That is the bar that she has raised. When we select candidates, they must be able to bring in. We're all inclusive. Come in. Don't mind who you vote for the last time. We are able to bring you in. Bring you in. And that is one of the marks, the hallmarks of a good candidate. When we talk about leadership, and I mentioned Victor, Cora has her own style. We all have our own styles. And I'm sure that Cora would admit to you that she would have learned a thing or two in terms of leadership. She has her own style. Brilliant. And the cadre of candidates that we will be presenting from these political rostrums, my fellow Anguillians, will be of a high caliber. Because Anguilla going forward needs the type of individuals who are prepared and ready to lead this country. As I mentioned earlier, there are 3 candidates in this upcoming by-election, and you have to decide for yourself. You have to decide for yourself. I already decide. There is no doubt where my vote is going to go. But, again, you have to be careful, because if you have the lion out there saying publicly that I am going to vote for him, it obviously means that it's either I am a damn lunatic or he is one. One of the two. Because if you're replacing me in this constituency, Shellya, who has been a part of my cell, who has prepared herself for representing you, the people in District 3, has had my endorsement from day one. I can be such a lunatic to talk about going and vote for the lion. So that in itself should tell you, the listening public, something. Is he playing with our minds? Or has his mind been played with? Because that's what he said. That's not my word. that I am going to vote for him. So again, you have to be very careful, my fellow Anguillians, and you have to listen. I am not talking about the disrespect, because I don't think we should even mention that. You be the judge with respect to that. This is Shellya's rostrum. So you be the judge with respect to that. And I know that she is not going to go there with that. I said before, the three candidates that you have to choose from, that we have to choose from on Monday and Tuesday, three of them. We have to look at the professionalism of them. We have to look at the personalities. We have to look at their preparedness. We have to look at their ability to function in a team environment. The ability to function in a team environment. And irrespective of what you think of the present administration, irrespective of what you think about them, at least they are a so-called team. The Lion got anybody to team up with? So you have to be careful. We have to be careful in our choices. There ain't nobody to team up with. And we have to look at their ability to represent you politically. And may I add, you have to look at their stability. You have to look at it. And when you look at all three candidates, there was a tick mark beside Shellya in my book for all of those points that I mentioned. Have to look at it. Professionalism, preparedness, personality, the ability to function in a team environment, and the ability to represent me and you politically, and her stability, whether it's physical or whether it's mental. You have to look at stability. Stability. Only independent candidate. What type of environment that he will function in as the only independent? Shake up what? What can he shake up? Man, come on. My people cannot be so gullible to think that one person who seemed to be on different wavelengths and everything he talks about to shake up something. It's good theater, it's good theatrics, but at the end of the day, there is very little that he will be able to bring to the table. And the folks who are behind him, who are encouraging him, who are campaigning for him, you must ask yourself, the electorate in District 3, you must ask yourselves, what are the motives of these individuals? What are the motives? They told you less than 2 years ago, 5 votes, 5 votes. A vote is in this by-election, but they're telling you to go and vote for the Lion. Please ask yourselves, look at what they are saying. And I want us to be focused and to get out there on election day and put your X, put your shaded X to Shellya. In politics, I read somewhere one time, in politics, when you talk about a good politician is one who turns the people on. And when you turn the people on, the people turn out. You listening? A good politician, I read it somewhere, a good politician is one who turns the people on. You turn the people on. You get the people excited about you. And when you get that excitement, the people turn out to vote for you. There is no doubt that Shellya, in her presentations thus far and in her life thus far, has turned the electorate in District 3 on. And I'm asking you to turn out on election day and vote for her. The enthusiasm is there, but we've got to turn that enthusiasm and that support into votes. That is what we're dealing with. So I'm asking you, 1 vote, 1 Shellya, one beacon. So even if you didn't support anybody on the beacon slate last election, one Shellya, one vote, and she's the representative of the beacon. So go and vote for her. That's what I'm asking you. Please do that. That is one, Shellya is one who has prepared herself for serving you, the people of Anguilla. She has represented Anguilla in various capacities, represented Anguilla with pride, poise, honor, dignity, and humility. We are proud of you, Shellya, for what you've done for Anguilla thus far. Valedictorian at the University of Wisconsin in Stevens Point. She don't like to talk about these things. Don't like to talk about them. But Google her and you'll see. Google her and you will see. She's one who has and will give us a desired level of comfort once we go out and vote for her. But because we have to go and vote for Anguilla, for her. Anguilla has a bright future ahead. Even in these dark days, we have a bright future. This is a beautiful, God-blessed country. But we, the electorate, must be cognizant of the individuals that we vote in office to represent us. And in this crucial election, by-election here in District 3, of the three candidates that you have, one from the present government who you don't hear from, the other one on different wavelengths with everything he talk about. And you know his behavior and disrespect to the people of Anguilla. And we have a candidate who has prepared herself and is ready to lead you forward. I am at ease. I am at ease with myself. I am comforted. I am comforted to know that my next representative is head and shoulders above me at this political point in her life. Comforted to know it. And if this is the gold standard that we have to set for our representatives, we, the people of Anguilla, must go out and vote for them. A capable, committed, and serious individual. I am asking you, the people of District 3, Valley North, please, to go out and vote for the Honorable, soon to be Honorable, Shellya Rogers-Webster. Shellya, come and speak to your people. Come on and speak to your people. Come on and speak to your people. Come on and speak to your people.
Thank you, thank you.
At the end of the day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Rogers. Thank you. It is certainly a pleasure to be in the company of such lovely people here this evening. Our dynamic, loyal AUF supporters. Those who may not be traditional AUF supporters, but are Shellya supporters, good night as well. Good evening to the home of Domino's, the home of sports and calypso, the home of entrepreneurs, the home of creatives and phenomenal business people. Thank you for having me, Stony Ground. This evening, I'd like to take the opportunity to apologize for not having the meeting last week. My son was ill, and it was important for me to be able to stay with him so that he recovers. I want to thank everyone who reached out with words of comfort and checking in. It was greatly appreciated. We are now back on the road and ready to go. feels good to be in Stony Ground. It feels good to be addressing you from the street where I have walked unceasingly for over 20-something years. And of course, as usual, I'd like to have a moment of silence this evening for those who we have lost in the community within the past 2 years. May their souls rest in peace and their families remain comforted. Stony Ground, over the course of the last few weeks, I have been meeting with you in your homes and on the streets on a one-on-one basis. And together, we have been stringing along dreams of what we would like to see in this community and in Valley North in general. But with open arms, I ask you this evening, I humbly ask you this evening, I humbly ask you to give me your support and your vote on the 23rd and 24th of May. Before I go into sharing my vision for this district, which is the real reason for me being here today, I want to take some time to address some of the empty, baseless chatter that you've been hearing on the streets and on the airwaves in recent times. It is the kind of chatter that you hear when people are smelling defeat. About a week ago, I happened to accidentally hear a piece of an interview that was done by one of my opponents, clearly speaking from a position of desperation. They claimed that there was no point in voting for someone who would be taking up a position as a member of the opposition. It was said that a person in opposition would be no use. There would be no use as an individual in opposition. They said, vote for one who can join the government and do something for the people. Well, I found that to be pretty interesting, and here is why. First and foremost, it struck me that this type of reasoning was directly confirming that own individuals' uselessness. Their own uselessness in their current role assisting government. It also struck me that that individual was using their own standard of non-performance to cast judgment on someone like me. Well, I want to say to that individual, maybe you would not be able to perform in opposition, but I can. Secondly, they would want you to believe that the opposition has no real value in the House of Assembly. They would want you to believe that if you elect me on May 24th, that I would be joining my colleagues to do nothing. Well, that's absolutely incorrect. I would be joining my colleagues to be put in a position to represent you and on behalf of you, the people of Valley North. What an insult to your intelligence, my good people of District 3, coming from the bellies of those who neither know or understand the value of parliamentary opposition. As Mr. Rogers often says, parliamentary opposition is a government in waiting, and we are a government in waiting. And so, my people of Valley North, I ask you this. Don't they know the effectiveness of Parliament largely depends on the very existence, and I dare say the strength of the opposition? And don't they know that when I am elected, I will be joining a strong and experienced, highly capable team in opposition, led by the Honorable Cora Richardson Hodge. Don't they know that the opportunity to sit on the opposition side of the House of Assembly will give me direct exposure to the parliamentary processes and procedures, and will equip me with the kind of experience that is required to function transparently, efficiently, and effectively in government in the next 3 years? Don't they know that functioning in opposition will afford me the opportunity to support any legislation that I deem to enhance the quality of life of the people of my district and by extension Anguilla? Don't they know that my opposition team from all accounts has been doing a master job in the House of Assembly, discussing, debating, and challenging the decisions and policies and plans of this government that today is sadly pushing Anguilla to the brink of poverty? Could it be that the voice to come, my voice, a voice that my opponents are probably afraid of electing to the House of Assembly? So yes, my people, it is true that when you vote for me, I will be in opposition. But my people, do not be fooled. When you elect me on election day, it will be your voice in opposition that will be speaking on the issues of taxation in this country, not the least of which is the poorly timed GST. When you elect me, it will be your voice in opposition that will be pressing for the reduced cost of standard of living, for a better and affordable health care for all, including the elderly. When you elect me, my people of Valley North, it will be your voice in opposition that will be speaking on the bad, inconsiderate decisions of the government to award themselves a 15% salary increase in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, a 15% increase on salaries and wages, while the rest of us must suffer. Mine will be your voice in opposition, agitating for the right emphasis to be placed on education, agitating for increased investments in education at all levels, agitating for the resumption, and I repeat this, agitating for the resumption of scholarships and support programs for our youth. I want to put on record that one of the reasons why I decided to join the Anguilla United Front Party is because they have consistently invested in scholarship funding when other administrations have cut it. The records are there. This is not something I am making up. The records are there, including this current administration. And what's more, beyond my parliamentary voice will be my continued work in the district. You see, I didn't wait until I was in government. I didn't wait until I was sitting in opposition to be working for you. I didn't need to be appointed as a ministerial assistant to be working for you. I am of you, I am for you. I have always been and will continue to be working for you, whether it is in government or in opposition. The records are there. It is clear. I have always been committed to Valley North. Allow me the opportunity to emphasize my vision for Valley North and Anguilla as a whole. A vision that I have recently been touting on the platforms and on the airwaves, and it is worth repeating. Simply put, It is one where the citizens of this country will have a fair and decent quality of life. Apart from access to affordable primary health care and reinvestments in education, I will always push at the forefront of my narrative for my people. Access to water, access to well-balanced daily meals, access to affordable electricity, financial literacy, access to primary and secondary education, academic and vocational at the highest quality levels, giving persons the chance and the ability to represent themselves even at the most basic level. My people, let me remind you that you are at the core of my vision. Every effort, every program, every infrastructural development will have real and tangible value for you. My vision is for my people to have a decent quality standard of living, one where you don't have to worry about how your bills will be paid because you have no job. This plan is a solid plan and one based not on scattered one-off programs. And I reiterate that at the heart of my plan is you. At the core of my plan is education and training. Because you cannot be put first in this country if you are not educated and trained in your specific area. At the core of my vision is looking at health and food security and self-care. At the core of my vision is looking at infrastructure and tangible spaces and development. The intention is to reach everyone, but special attention, my people, must be paid to our young people, to our elderly, and those with disabilities and developmental delays, our single parents. District 3, as I make my way through this district, I have been listening to your concerns, and I have come to tell you tonight that this vision takes into consideration all that you have told me. Not just because it's the political season, but over the years we have been working together. You can bet I have been noting the things you have said to me. I acknowledge the things you are happy with. I also acknowledge the things you are not happy with. As a word of caution, there will never be enough. There will never be enough money, enough time, enough resources. However, that must not be used as an excuse. With the support of government, the private sector, community groups, and with me as your representative and your leader, your confidant, your equal, we can and will do things together. To this end, I endeavor to establish a district council to work towards developing district-wide programs and initiatives over the next 3 years. Do know that I'm not here to make unrealistic promises, tell lies to make you feel good. I have worked in government and the community long enough to know what is possible, what is impossible, and how long things take. However, I am confident that with your support, with your ownership of the hard work that is required to make such things happen, we will achieve great things, Valley North. So, Valley North, when I tell you that I am ready, when I tell you that I have prepared myself to take you forward, when I tell you vote for me, when I tell you vote for Shellya, your community leader, who will help you to move this district forward in the next 3 years within the first instance, you will be voting for your community leader, who has also had her dark days, years of struggles even, so I can identify with your struggles. However, I have demonstrated courage and determination in my quest to survive. And you too will survive, Valley North. When you vote for me, you will be putting the power in you, the people. You will be voting for one who has chosen to work with a party who is well organized, well experienced, well intentioned, well accomplished, a party that is productive and stable. At this point in Anguilla's history, Valley North, you need a representative who is respectful of others, who is experienced, having had 13 and a half years in the Anguilla Public Service, who is prepared socially, academically, professionally, and who is connected with its people. Valley North, I am an insider. I was born and raised in this district. I am your candidate. I am your own. As I draw to the close, I pause to say thank you to those of you who have pledged your support. I thank you to those who on a daily basis encourage me to ignore the noise. When I started this journey officially with my first public meeting, Valley North, I said to you, my shoulders are broad. Valley North, I said to you, I am built for this. Weeks later, Valley North, nothing has changed. My shoulders are broad. I am tough and I am built for this. So there is no one, Valley North, that is going to deter me from what lies ahead. I ask you to continue to remain focused and steadfast on the goal ahead. You have a leader, Valley North, who knows how to ignore the noise. You have a leader, Valley North, who knows how to manage criticism. You have a leader, Valley North, who knows how to manage propaganda. Valley North, we will not be distracted. We will not be deterred. On the 23rd and 24th of May, we will be voting the beacon. Shellya, Rogers-Webster, the beacon. I will be the last person on the ballot. Do not be distracted, my people of Valley North. The mudslinging, the character assassinations that they have chosen as their standard for their campaign will not move me, Valley North. Thank you for reassuring me that you are neither impressed nor moved by any of it. That might work in other districts, my dear people, but not in Valley North. Additionally, Valley North, I want to say this. There are many people through this election campaign cycle that has been outside of Valley North, may I point out, that has been trying to dictate the future of this election. Let them know, Valley North, that Valley North is capable, has always been and will always be capable of selecting their own representative. So when they come from their other districts driving around campaigning, treat them with respect and dignity like we do in Valley North. But on election day, mark your X, shade your circle for Shellya, Rogers-Webster, the beacon. The people of Valley North are more than capable of representing their own interests. We don't need anyone from any other district to come here and run. Our people are more than capable. Our people also know how to choose their representative. Do not be discouraged, my people. This is the final stretch of the campaign. Continue to stay focused and steadfast on this path. The slander, the innuendos will not work in Valley North. It has never worked in Valley North. We, the people of Valley North, remain focused and unshaken. When you go to the polls on the 23rd and 24th, vote for an individual who didn't just wake up and decide to hop over to Valley North to get a path to Parliament. Vote for a person who has prepared themselves long before today, because they knew that the worthy people of Valley North required a representative who was well prepared in every sense of the word. And I am that representative. I know there may be some of you who are still making up your minds. I ask that you give me a chance. You have within me an individual who is young, prepared, and ready to serve you. I ask you to give me a chance. Give me an opportunity. On election day, go to the polls in your numbers. Do not go to the polls alone. I ask that each person listening under the sound of my voice, when you're going to the polls, make sure you're taking someone with you. I want to say something special to the Anguilla United Front supporters, our core base supporters. There are a number of you that might think this election will be a walk in the park. That is not the case. We will not become complacent. Every single vote counts. It is extremely important that you come out on election day and vote. This is the only way that you will ensure that your candidate is in office. It is the only way that your representative will be elected. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your words of encouragement, but I need your vote. My people of Valley North, they're out. They're out viciously. But we will remain steadfast. When they come to your homes, question them. When they come to your homes, question their agendas. Look at the way they live their lives themselves personally. Look at the way they treat others and question them when they come to your doorstep. Question them about their agendas, Valley North. Valley North, remain steadfast. Your representative is here for you. I am prepared, I am ready, and I am unfazed by all that is going on. Over the next 3 days, I will continue to touch base with you. I will continue to reach out to you. I will continue my door-to-door because I believe in touching base with the people of Valley North. To the individuals that I might not have had an opportunity to come to yet, I am going to get to you. Even if it's after the election period, I will still get to you because I intend to get to you. Understand that I am committed to you, my people of Valley North. At this time, I want to say one more time, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you to the individuals who might not have traditionally supported the party, but who believe in me, who have seen how I've treated people over the years and who believe in me as a person. I believe in you, the people of Valley North, and I will always represent your interests. I believe in partnership. We cannot do this alone. I believe in reaching out and connecting people. Vote for a unifier. We have enough dividers in this country. So my people of Valley North, I ask you one final time this evening, on election day, the 23rd firstly and the 24th, to go out and vote for Shellya Rogers-Webster, the Beacon. I will be the last candidate on the ballot. Be not moved, be not discouraged. As you get the paper, go straight to the bottom. Go straight to the bottom and give me your X or shade the circle. Please do not go outside of the circle, my people of Valley North. No spoil ballots. We want every single vote counted. Good night. I love you and thank you.
Valley North, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. 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 District 3, are you ready? For a leader, a true visionary. She's brilliant, caring, capable, humble, committed to the task and steady. Valley North, she is what you deserve. Hardworking, willing to serve. A woman on a mission, let her make a contribution to the nation. She's a woman of her word.
There you have it, fellow Anguillians, residents of Road North, Valley North, Shellya Rogers-Webster, your next District 3 representative. A few points. Remember, on Monday, 23rd May 2022, we have early voting. 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Anguilla House of Assembly. On Election Day, the 24th of May 2022, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., by-elections voting at the Aurelia Kelly Primary School, Stony Ground Primary School. Tomorrow, Sunday, 22nd May 2022, we will assemble at the Lansing Bowl at the Valley Anguilla at 4:15 p.m. for the Anguilla United Front motorcade, which has been approved. The route has been approved by the Royal Anguilla Police Force, and we will assemble there, and at 4:30 we will leave and go through the approved route. We will have 3 whistle stops, and each stop will last about 5 minutes. 1 in Stony Ground, 1 in Farrington, and 1 in Carl's Bottom. And I want to remind you, on both Monday and Tuesday, you are looking for the symbol of the beacon. The beacon, the beacon. You are looking for the name Shellya Rogers-Webster. Shellya Rogers-Webster. You shade in or put a mark in the circle. You do not go outside or you may spoil your ballot. And you must wear a mask and social distancing. Do not forget to bring your mask. In order to vote, you must wear your mask. So tomorrow, we will see you at 4:15 at the Lansing Bowl. Thank you. Good night. God bless you.
You want a good leader, so on election day, the 24th of May, Valley North, District 3, run around, let me hear you say, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya.
Valley North, this is your candidate, Shellya Rogers-Webster, in the 2022 by-election, representing the Anguilla United Front Party. On May 24th, 2022, vote Shellya Rogers-Webster, the Beacon.
At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. Valley North, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we she is what you deserve. Hardworking, willing to serve. A woman on a mission, let her make a contribution to the nation. She's a woman of her word. Shellya Rogers-Webster, no one can better. You want a trend setter, you want a good leader. So on the election day, the 24th of May, Valley North, District 3, run it wrong, let me hear you say, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya.
Valley North, this is your candidate, Shellya Rogers-Webster, in the 2022 by-election, representing the Anguilla United Front Party. On May 24th, 2022, vote Shellya Rogers-Webster the Beacon.
At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. Valley North, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. Valley North, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. District 3, are you ready? For a leader, a true visionary. She's brilliant, caring, capable, humble, committed to the task and steady. Valley North, she is what you deserve. Hardworking, willing to serve. A woman on a mission, let her make a contribution to the nation. She's a woman of her word. Shellya Rogers-Webster, no one can rep you better. You want a trend setter, you want a good leader. So on the election day, the 24th of May, Valley North, District 3, run it wrong, let me hear you say, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya.
Valley North, this is your candidate, Shellya Rogers-Webster, in the 2022 by-election, representing the Anguilla United Front Party. On May 24th, 2022, vote Shellya Rogers-Webster the Beacon.
At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. Valley North, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. At the end of the day, Shellya all the way. Valley North, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. District 3, are you ready? For a leader, a true visionary. She's brilliant, caring, capable, humble, committed to the task and steady. Valley North, she is what you deserve. Hardworking, willing to serve. A woman on a mission, let her make a contribution to the nation. She's a woman of her word. Shellya Rogers-Webster, no one can rep you better. You want a trend setter, you want a good leader. So on the election 24th of May, Valley North, District 3. Rally round, let me hear you say, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. District 3, who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya. Who we voting? Shellya, Shellya, Shellya.
Valley North, this is your candidate, Shellya Rogers-Webster, in the 2022 by-election, representing the Anguilla United Front Party. On May 24th, 2022, vote Shellya Rogers-Webster, the Beacon.
At the end of the day, Shellya all you